Monday Night Raw starts off with AJ Styles. Starts off with him cutting a promo, mentioning his retirement. Then eventually he ends up mentioning that he eventually wants another shot at the World Heavyweight Championship. CM Punk interrupts. He ends up basically seems concerned for AJ putting his career on the line and ends up mentioning how they never had a match together and it'd be unfortunate they never wrestled. Then they both come up with the idea that they should have a match on tonight's show for the World Heavyweight Championship, which ended up being the main event. The match ended up becoming official, put on a really solid match, ends up getting interrupted with Finn Balor, ends up attacking CM Punk and AJ Styles, causing a DQ, and Finn Balor ended up standing tall. I like what they did here, honestly. I like what they did here. I like what they're going with Finn Balor, him deciding whether or not do he still want to be with the Judgment Day or do he want to turn face. They had a segment with him and Punk where Finn ended up showing respect to CM Punk, and CM Punk ended up alluding to that if he wants to be world champion, he needs to enter the Rumble with that. The reason why he may not be world champion is because he's part of the Judgment Day and he needs to leave the Judgment Day in order to become world champion. I like the story they're telling her. And then later in the show, they end up showing him and Liv Morgan having a little bit of a disagreement. I like what they're doing. I really do. The only concern I have is that are they really going to pull the trigger on Finn Balor? Now, I don't mind either way. I like Finn, but I don't like him that much where I'm really fiending for a world title reign. I don't mind. It doesn't really matter to me. The only thing is just the Finn Balor fanboys who's been desperate for a world title reign for so many years. So any sign of him being in the main event scene, they're going to take it as him finally getting that push. I'm like, I don't know if he's actually getting the push because he could potentially be in the main event scene, but he could still lose. Like, it doesn't mean he's going to win the world championship. But I like what they're going with this. I just hope that they actually pull the trigger on this because we know Triple H in the Judgment Day where he does a million teases and never execute. So I'm hoping that this is the year that we finally get the implosion of the Judgment Day because as much I like the Judgment Day, I like the faction, I do think the faction has ran its course. I think it's time to break them all up because I don't think there's much left to do with them as a faction, as a group. I hope this is actually meaning that we're actually getting a breakup because Triple H has this thing where he teases them, then he does nothing for months. Now, part of it is injury, which I understand to a degree, but at a certain point, it's like you just got to pull the trigger because you can't just keep hoping that all of them are going to be healthy for this implosion because it seems like they never can ever be healthy for the implosion. It's like someone's always injured. So at some point, you just got to pull the trigger. So I'm hoping this means that we're finally getting the breakup of the Judgment Day, but I'm not getting my hopes up yet because he has done this before where he teased a breakup, then they all make up randomly by winning some gold eventually. So we'll see how this eventually unfolds. We end up getting a 6-woman tag team match between the Judgment Day versus Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, and Stephanie McMahon. This was a really good tag team match. Rhea Ripley ended up getting the pinfall with Roxanne Perez. The babyface ended up winning. This was really just to tell the story between really Stephanie and Raquel. Later on in the show, it is confirmed that they're going to have a World Heavyweight Championship match next week, which is going to be very interesting because if Liv Morgan wins the Rumble and potentially if Raquel wins the World Heavyweight Championship, that can create an interesting dynamic because you could potentially tease who Liv Morgan is going to choose. And then if she eventually chooses Raquel, that creates an interesting narrative. Or you could tell the narrative of Raquel losing, Liv Morgan chooses Stephanie, Raquel gets jealous. So this creates an interesting narrative that I could potentially see playing out, to be honest with you. After tonight's show, I'm still not the most confident in Liv Morgan winning. I am a bit more confident in Liv Morgan winning only because of the championship match next week. And it is a street fight, so you could have Liv Morgan potentially interfere in that match. Most likely it's going to be an interference because I can't think of a street fight in WWE in recent memory that had no interferences. I can't think of one in recent memory. So it's like most likely the Judgment Day is going to interfere in that match. You're going to have Rhea Ripley, Io Sky help Stephanie as well. That's potentially could cost Raquel the match. They get into an argument, and then that leads to the dissension of the Judgment Day. So I will say I do like her odds a lot more after tonight's Raw. I'm still not the most confident, but I do like her odds a bit more after tonight's episode of Raw. Honestly, I'm cool with either decision they go, whether it's Raquel beating Stephanie or not beating Stephanie, but I personally want Raquel to win. I think she's ready for that world championship. Plus, I just think the story of just having Raquel be champion going in would be a lot more interesting in my opinion. Plus, Raquel cut an amazing promo on Commercial Break, bro. Mentioning Stephanie Raquel, that was a great promo. Like, it was a really great promo. The aggression that she had in the promo was perfect. It was perfectly executed. I love what Raquel is doing. She is becoming one of my favorite women to watch in wrestling in general. She's doing some really cool stuff. Especially, I love the nickname that they gave her, Big Sexy Raquel. I love the nickname that they gave her. It fits her perfectly, to be honest with you. I'm hoping that they have big plans for her at Mania. I don't have the highest hopes, but I hope they have something big for her, man. Whether it's Liv Morgan or the Worlds, I don't care what they do. I hope they have something big for her because she absolutely deserves. She has had an amazing 2025 leading into 2026. Now we do end up getting Division. They end up cutting a promo, which I don't understand why is this like Divisions thing where they introduce each person to hype up each person. I don't understand it. Why do they have to do that every promo? I don't understand it. But after that, you get Adam Pearce. He ends up basically uplifting the suspension, and he ends up giving Austin Theory another chance to face Rey Mysterio due to what happened, I think 2 weeks ago with the brass knuckles incident. So he gets him another chance. And then Austin Theory ends up picking up the victory over Rey Mysterio. This was really just to mention Braun Breaker because that's the only thing that really matters here. All of the Division are in the Royal Rumble. So that's very interesting. We know Braun Breaker most likely should be in the Final Four, in my opinion. But Braun Breaker still will be my pick, if I'm being honest. I think he's the best choice. I think he's the one that makes the most sense. He should already be world champion, but WWE typically likes to pull the trigger a little bit later, like to pull the trigger on bigger shows. So what bigger show can you pull the trigger on Braun Breaker to become world champion than WrestleMania? So Division all are in the Royal Rumble, and they all agree that Braun Breaker should become world champion. So they're all going to help Braun Breaker win, which I actually like, which should work because you have 3 guys helping you win. There's no reason for Braun Breaker to not win this match. You have 3 guys helping you win. Like, if Braun Breaker don't win with 3 guys helping him, I don't understand what we're doing at this point. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm hoping Braun Breaker or Sami Zayn, who the main guy wants to win, but I'm assuming Braun Breaker's the more realistic option, but we'll see how this plays out. Now, we end up getting a Natalya segment. She ends up revealing her reasoning for why she turned on Maxine, and I'm gonna be honest, man, the reasoning made no sense at all. Her reasoning was basically that she's like everyone else, and that just because she can wrestle with a legend, that means she can hang with a legend, something along those lines. What she said made no sense. I want this feud to be good. I really do. But her logic made no sense. And then she said that when she's done with Maxine, she'll go after the Intercontinental Championship, which also makes no sense. If you wanted to go after the Intercontinental Championship, you could have just had Maxine win, then attacked her. That way you could destroy Maxine while getting the championship. I'm just saying, the way WWE did this was all wrong. The logic made no sense. If they wanted to come up with an excuse, all they had to do was just say that Maxine wasn't a worthy champion and that she doesn't deserve to be put in that spot and that I need to put her in her place because I am more worthy of that opportunity and I've been overlooked. That's all they had to say. But no, they came up with some random excuse that made no sense at all. I don't understand it. It made no sense. I'm hoping for this feud to be good, but it's not starting off great. The segment itself wasn't bad from Natty's talking, but like the reasoning that she gave made little to no sense. I was so confused on that. It just didn't make sense. I'm hoping this gets better, but the reasoning that she gave made no sense. Now, the last thing I am going to mention is Gunther. He ended up having a sit-down interview with Michael Cole, and basically he ends up saying that the reason why he wanted to retire AJ Styles is because he wanted something to gain from another match. And he ends up saying that he's tired of all of these old timers chasing that final moment when all of those moments just belongs to him. I like this segment. This was really good. This really made Gunther get some of that feeling back that I want to feel with Gunther, him being that threatening, dominant presence that he should have. This is very unpredictable because I could really see AJ Styles winning this match, but I could also see Gunther winning as well. I still feel confident Gunther is winning, but this is very unpredictable, to be honest with you. I like the direction they're going with this, especially with giving AJ Styles that World Championship match, not having him lose, which makes perfect sense because you don't want him to lose before his retirement match. That just makes no sense. So very interested to see where this goes. I like this segment overall, what they did with Gunther. This build has been really fun for me personally. I enjoy what they have done. Overall show was great. I thought overall show was great. I really enjoyed it. You guys let me know your overall thoughts, opinions down below in the comment section. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my content. But yeah, that's it.